All right, hello again, everybody. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss with Fantasy Football Live. It is Waiver Wire Tuesday, and it is crunch time in the fantasy football season. The semifinals are on tap, and we've got a week filled with football pretty much every day from Thursday through the holiday. Really going to be an excellent time to be a football fan over the next. You have all these bowl games, college football bowl games, plus you have the NFL pretty much every day from Thursday onward, and we're all hopefully battling it out for our fantasy football championships. Now, if you're new to the channel, like I always say, hit that subscribe button and the notification button as well. We're going to go over the waiver wire ads for this week. And it's funny because waiver wire Tuesday at this point in the season really is not that important, because if you've made it to this part of the season, chances are the team that you have right now is what brought you there. And in actuality, you're probably treating the waiver wire this week as a defense mode to block your opponent from picking somebody up. I know in one of my leagues, I'm in the semifinals in both of my leagues. My opponent in one league has C.J. Stroud and Sam Howell as quarterbacks. So he's going to have to pick up a quarterback this week. Howell is still, Stroud is still dealing with headaches. 50-50 to play this week. And so I have a higher waiver wire claim, and Gardner Minshew is available. And I put in my top waiver claim on Gardner Minshew. I really don't need anything else right now at this point in both of my leagues. Like, I'm just going to ride it out, ride or die with both of these teams. But listen, it's fair game. If you can block your opponent from picking up somebody that can help them, then that's just as good as adding somebody to your roster. Because, again, at this point, most of our teams are set. We've made it this far. We should have good depth to get to this stage of the season, that more likely than not, the players you're going to be picking up are a luxury. Hey, Randy, how are you? Do you think the Chargers will shut down Keenan? I think it's a very distinct possibility. I think there's a couple of shutdown scenarios that we need to be aware of. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler with the Chargers for one, and Tennessee. So the Tennessee Titans. And pretty much every single waiver wire Tuesday, we've talked about Tajay Spears. You got to pick up Tajay Spears. His ownership level has lagged all year because Derrick Henry has managed to stay healthy. However, with Derrick Henry absolutely on fumes, 20 touches, and he didn't even get 20 yards last week. It's just a pathetic performance. And I hate to say that for such a great player, but it has been beyond bad for Derrick Henry the second half of the season. We might be at the point now, and he's not going to be with the Titans next year. We might be at the point where the team gently suggests to him, listen, we're going to take a look at Tajay Spears. He's the future. And Derrick Henry knows this. He's not stupid. And Derrick Henry is not somebody that I think would pop off in the media and lose his shit over ceding time to Tajay Spears. I think he sees the writing on the wall. I mean, listen, he's 29 years old. Like, the end is near. It comes quick for some of these guys. Look at Austin Eckler. And that's why you hold Tajay Spears. You held him all year. Now, it could be a scenario where if Henry does take a seat to let Spears cook, whether it's this week, next week, and you're still in the fantasy football playoffs, you have a 3-down stud PPR potential monster in Tajay Spears, who has shown very, very intriguing ability so far this season when he's gotten a chance. Hey, Jermaine, how are you? Hey, Rice, how are you? I lost Bijan, hurt me bad. Pittman concussion. Yeah, I did see that. You had posted that. Listen, I went to town on the Falcons yesterday. I'm not going to go down that road again. I don't need to. We all saw what happened. Just a pathetic excuse of a coach at Arthur Smith. It has to stop. I'm not starting Henry yet. You can't. You just can't. And as far as where Spears in drafts, I think Spears is a very, very intriguing, whether it's round 3, 4, probably round 4. I think he's going to be in that Rachaad White mode in terms of where, White was drafted this past summer. White, a second-year player, went in round 4, I believe, and he's taken the league by storm in the second half of the season. I think that's what Tajay Spears' potential is. All right, $1.99 super chat from Joe Castles. Thank you, Joe, as always. Tua, Flacco, or Mayfield. You know what? I have to look at that one. It's a little early for me to be doing the picking lineup. I'm going to take a look at this right now. All right, because I got to answer Joe's question. Very, very generous again with the super chats. So we have, who do we have here? Tua. So Tua Tagovailoa against Dallas. Not sure. That's not an easy matchup. Baker Mayfield against Jacksonville or Joe Flacco going against Houston. I tell you what, I like Joe Flacco. I really do. What I will say too, though, is that Miami Dallas, I think, is going to be a shootout, and I think with Tyreek Hill back, you have to go Tyreek. Rather, you have to go to a Tagovailoa. I think they're going to need to throw a lot in this game, so I would go with Tua Tagovailoa, even though the numbers haven't exactly jumped off the page. All right, $4.99 super chat from Rain Young. Thank you, Rain. Happy Tuesday to you too. Playoff time. I need some serious advice. Would you take Kenneth Walker versus Titans or Singletary versus Browns? Kenneth Walker. I know both teams are strong against the run, but Kenneth Walker's coming up a very encouraging game where he looked really spry, looked as good as he's looked all season. So I would much rather have him. I know Singletary has played well the second half of the season, but this Browns defense is legit. They've caused problems for everybody all year. So I'm going with Kenneth Walker in this one. And thank you for that super chat. Very, very appreciative. One of my leagues I lost in the playoff, but I look at it as I did good first pick. Bijan Garrett. Yeah, listen, it was bad from the start, Zamora, but nobody would blame you for those picks. That's for sure. All right, in the semis, in one league where I lost Dell and Kirk, Zay Flowers is MIA down to Amon Ra. Should I pick up Palmer or Wicks? I would pick up Wicks. I think Dontavian Wicks has really proven himself the second half of the season to be a guy who is garnering a decent amount of targets. Christian Watson is not going to play probably again, and if he does, he's got that bulky hamstring. Jaden Reed is also banged up with a toe injury. I think Wicks is becoming a safety outlet for the quarterback there. The guy that concussed Pittman is suspended. Yeah, that was really ugly. Very, very ugly. Jordan Love, I had a brain for it. It was very ugly what happened to Michael Pittman. The NFL came down harder than I thought they would. Like that's a harsh penalty. Basically to throw him out the rest of the season. Like that's just crazy. Thank you, boss. One more question. Defense: Eagles versus Giants or Bills versus Chargers? You know what? I have to say the Bills. That defense shut down Dallas. What are they going to do against the Chargers? All right, $1.99 from Rise Above Anything. Thank you, Rise. Very appreciative of all the super chats today. You guys are awesome. McBride will be top 3 tight end, 100%. Absolutely 100%. He is a game-breaking tight end. You could just see it. It's obvious. And that's why I also put up the poll about Sam Laporta. And, 89% of you agree right now that Sam Laporta should be taken ahead of Travis Kelce. And thank you for that super chat. All right, let's get into some waiver ads for this week, starting with the quarterback. So Jake Browning is less than 50% owned. We all know that he's a yards after catch dynamo, but he's playing well. Like he's very decisive. He's very accurate. I think Jake Browning is setting himself up as a guy that the Bengals could probably trade and get a decent draft pick. We see this all the time. A guy gets his shot. He exceeds expectations and then becomes a hot commodity on the trade market. Alex Smith, Matt Castle. I mean, we've seen this over and over and over again. Singletary and Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is playing so bad. I still would have to go with him because it's going to be the Broncos should be playing from ahead. I'm thinking of drafting McBride next year. Yeah, I'm not drafting tight end early because I think I can get one of these guys, whether it's Isaiah Likely, Trey McBride, in the middle rounds. Kelce is slowly declining, no doubt. All right. So as far as Browning, listen, he's playing like a quarterback one right now. And he's confident. I think he's well worth picking up this week. Derek Carr. So Derek Carr, coming off his best game of the season against the Giants, absolutely torched them. The Rams, the Rams secondary is leaking a lot. They've given up 8 passing touchdowns over the last 3 games. That's a lot. And Carr is playing now with confidence. Chris Olave was limited today in practice. I think Olave is going to be back. And how about Taysom Hill? Like, again, it's all or nothing with this guy at 1.5 fantasy points. I mean, every time you put him in, this is what happens. But Derek Carr is a good pickup for this week as well. Now, running back, Zamir White. So 20% owned. We don't know what Josh Jacobs' situation is right now. I think White, he supplied the points last week. He really did. And I think that um, he runs with power. He's decisive. I think he would be a good guy to pick up this week. He's one of the top ads this week, but of course, it is early in the week. We don't know what Jacobs' situation is. But just on volume alone, I know they sprinkle in Amir Abdullah in the passing game, but Zamir White is one of the top ads this week. Tyler Algier, less than 50% owned. Arthur Smith has this infatuation with Tyler Algier, who's a fine player. Don't get me wrong. Like, he played really well as a rookie last year. But the Falcons just want to run the ball all day. And they're going to go with Taylor Heineke for whatever that does. But if you really are in need this week, Tyler Algier, he's getting the carries. You do a lot worse. Do I think JT plays? I think he might, but we have to see. I would say it's 60 plays. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 42% owns. Like, he just he had the touchdown last week, but it wasn't visually impressive. I'd much prefer to have Jerick McKinnon if Isaiah Pacheco is out, but Andy Reid said he should return this week. He actually could have played last week, talking about Pacheco, who was really on a roll before he got hurt, but they wanted to hold him out another week, which I think is smart. And then Trey Sermon. So Zach Moss, with a shoulder injury, he's going to try to play this week, but if he doesn't and Jonathan Taylor doesn't come back, you have Trey Sermon, who looked really good. I know Tyler Goodson got work as well, and he actually looked decent as well. But Trey Sermon, I think, would be the guy that you'd pick up there. You drafted Bijan first round, you should be getting used. Yeah, Bijan Robinson, it's not – this has nothing to do with Bijan Robinson, the player. Like, he's really that good. Generational talent, unbelievable. Everything across the board. Bijan Robinson is as good of a prospect as I've ever seen at the running back position. We just need a coach to come in here, and I'm really hoping it's the Lions OC. That would be the if you're Arthur Blank right now, you have to open up the checkbook for the Lions OC. You just have to. His name escapes me at the moment. Is it Bo Johnson? I don't remember I can't remember his name. Somebody help me out. He's the guy. And given how good the Lions offense has performed the last 2 years, if he ends up in Atlanta, I'm all in on all those guys again, as long as they get the quarterback. And I think they will. Maybe Jake Browning, right? Who knows? I think that's going to be one of the major storylines I'm going to be paying attention to during the offseason. Thoughts on Raheem Mostert? Listen, he's scoring every week. He's scoring every single week. A great story. Everybody that has played Raheem Mostert has raved about him. Seems like he's a very popular guy in the locker room. He's holding on to his top shelf speed. And this is a perfect example of a guy, an older back, like he's 30, I believe, who's having a career year at the age of 30. Why? Because he's hardly played the last 4 years. He's been constantly hurt, to the point that it was almost comical that the tires have full tread on them. So, and again, that's why Christian McCaffrey these last couple of years has still been great, because he had those back-to-back years where he hardly played. So, Saquon Barkley, next year he'll be 27. I think he'll be fine for one more year. I got him at pick 12. Yeah, Bijan made it to the second round of one of my leagues as well. All right, wide receiver. Noah Brown is the top wide receiver, and I do think that Nico Collins will return. CJ Stroud, we have to find out if he's going to clear concussion protocol. I think he has, they said he's still reporting headaches today, which is not a good sign. And if you're the Texans, again, like, they're not going to make the playoffs. And I think that realization is starting to settle in. Don't put the kid out there. Please, there's just no reason for that. He's the future. You don't want to mess this up. But Noah Brown had a good game last week. 32% of target share. The quarterback, Davis Mills, we all know stinks. But Noah Brown with Nico Collins, if he does return, will be the top two targets for sure. Curtis Samuel, 40% owned. It's a tough matchup against the Jets, but I do think Terry McLaurin is a sit option because he's going to be the X-man going against Sauce Gardner, whereas I think Curtis Samuel underneath, and Samuel's had a really good last month or so. I think Curtis Samuel, it will work again, for this week. Do I trust Bijan? Wow. Man, you have to play. I think Arthur Smith now knows his job's in jeopardy. He's going to give him touches. He almost has to. Derrick Henry will absolutely go somewhere else. There's no doubt about it. Made it to the championship week. Oh, you're welcome, L. Dot. Have to pick 3 out of the following. Who'd you start at half PPR? Mostert, White, Gibbs, or Walker? You're definitely going White. I would go. I think you have to go Mostert because he scores literally every freaking week. And boy, that's a tough. Let me see here. So Detroit's playing Minnesota in a dome. Who does Seattle have? Seattle, Tennessee. That's a tough run defense. I would have to go Gibbs in a dome because there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. That would be my take on it. I think Kyren Williams in the first round. Wow, I think he's going to be on the border. I think people are still a little bit leery of him. Listen, he's been the value play of the season, arguably, because he wasn't drafted in a majority of leagues. Like, it's just crazy how good he's been. Tua or Stafford on Thursday? I'm going Tua. And you're welcome, L. Dot. Yes, so I think Kyren Williams, for me, is a round 1-2 borderline guy. And you're paying the freight on what was a spectacular breakout season. There's no doubt about it. And I have to be honest with you. I didn't see any signs of this. I really didn't. I just didn't see any path for him to put forward this kind of season. And so I was completely wrong about that. But I wasn't alone. He wasn't impressive at all as a rookie. The Rams didn't trust him. The speed, 4.6 and the 40-yard dash at the combine scared a lot of teams away. 5th-round pick. He was no more as a receiving back. But, man, if you picked him up, kudos to you. And in one of my 2 leagues, he's still alive. It's funny, certain players like Josh Allen is still alive in both of my leagues. Christian McCaffrey's still alive in both of my leagues. Jalen Hurts is out in both of my leagues. So it's funny to see which players make it all the way and which don't. And I'm next week when we see who the 2 final teams are in both of my leagues, I'm going to share with you who the players are that are on both teams made it that far. Thoughts on Watson on waiver? Should I get him? Listen, Robert, it's always a struggle with this guy to stay healthy. There's a lot of intriguing players. That brings me up to Dontavian Wicks, who I think absolutely should be owned. He's right now. He's at 4% owned. 6 catches for 97 yards last week. And they have Tucker Kraft, who also is worth adding this week. He's been a top 12 tight end each of the last 3 weeks, talking about Tucker Kraft. So I would not pick up Christian Watson. Is there a chance he, falls into a 40-yard catch and takes it to the distance? Yes, but I'm all about trends. And the trends are he's way too hit or miss for me in this big of a fantasy football setting. Kelsey's on first round. Yep, Eckler, Kelsey, neither guy is a first-round pick. I don't even think Jonathan Taylor is a first-round pick next year. CMC, CMC, Gibbs, both of those guys electric. Michael Wilson, I'm not loving the Cardinals. Puka's been inconsistent against the Saints or Sutton against the Pats. I'm going Puka because, again, I don't think the Broncos are going to throw it a lot. They don't have to against the Patriots. Yeah, Kraft was a good ad, Rise. That was definitely a good one. Right now he's 10% owned. So I think Tucker Kraft, like I just mentioned, he's been a top 12 tight end each of the last 3 weeks. Okay, so my comments are popping up. I did see your TD. Did I miss a question? I'm going to go back and see if I missed one of your questions. I'm sorry if I did. Sometimes the chat goes quickly. I don't see the question, TD. So if you want to post that again for me, I will answer whatever questions you have. And sometimes I miss comments, guys. So just, post it again. Puka or Olave? I'm going to go Olave if he's playing. You have to. He's the number 1 guy. They're still missing a lot of people there. Yeah, Kraft was good. Gerald Everett, Easton Stick, obviously he's garbage. We know that. Ignore the garbage time touchdowns last week. But Gerald Everett has been somewhat solid, the last month and a half. 10 catches for 80 yards the last 2 weeks. Getting the job done there. Defense, Denver Broncos, obviously. Denver Broncos making good defense this week. The Green Bay Packers, there's some good matchups on the defenses as well this week. I don't know what the strategy. Listen, the strategy is the same strategy I've used each of the last 3 years. Wide receiver first round, wide receiver second round. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to go back and look at because in fairness, I want to share with you guys because I'm always critiquing your stuff. So I'm going to go back and do my draft results in my 2 leagues just to show you how it worked out for me as well. Did we miss out on Toaster Bowl? Did I say ever? Toastery Bowl? You know what? I don't even pay attention to the bowl games. But I will say this. I am really pumped up about the 12 teams for the college football playoff next year. I think it's going to be great. Hey, SC, aloha. How are you? Merry Christmas to you too. Josh Jacobs, hit or miss. I don't think he did anything today. We got to keep an eye on this. And again, is there really motivation for him to play? And if you're Josh Jacobs, who's trying to get a new contract, like I don't think that you're going to really, there's just no point, right? I'm trying to find my team here. Thoughts on Colts defense against Atlanta with Heineke starting? Yeah, I mean, the Colts defense has been playing well, so I certainly would use them. Running back over here or running back? Yes, value running back has been, we've talked about this a million times. Rachaad White, James Conner, David Montgomery, Kyren Williams, like the two best values. Rachaad White, Kyren Williams were both value running backs. Almost all the value running backs hit. I know some of them missed time with injury. The one that certainly did not hit was Aaron Jones, but we should have, and I was wrong on that in one of my leagues. He was 28 years old. We should have saw this coming. Thoughts on Debo? Listen, you play Debo all the way just because he's been that good. You have to keep going, Debo, no doubt about it. I cannot find my old, when you try to do that on your phone, pull up your old, it's not letting me pick up my own. Oh, here we go. All right. So now my work league, which I had the number 1 seed in, my first round pick out of the 8th spot was Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was a hit. And I took some ribbing at the draft. There were a few, you reach for Amon-Ra St. Brown. 8th overall. Yes. And I just wanted to have him. Round 2, A.J. Brown. Both guys have hit. So I was happy. And that the running back start, the wide receiver start, it absolutely worked out for me. Wasted a 4th on Dameon Pierce. Yeah, man, that was rough. Rashad at 60 is a great pick for Rise. I'm about to say James Cook value running back over Bijan. Listen, Sean, you have to. Brady has uncorked James Cook, who's really run the gamut this year from a hot start, bad middle, and now a really extremely hot blistering pace to end the season. Now, round 3, I took Josh Allen. I went quarterback in the 3rd round in both my leagues. So my first 3 picks all hit. Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, Josh Allen. This is where the trouble started. Round 4, I took Aaron Jones. And I actually thought it was a good value. But I am a sucker for Aaron Jones all the time. 4th round, thought it was good value. He just has been a disaster at 28 years old. 5th round, I took Drake London. All right. Now, that missed as well. But after week 1, I traded Drake London. I did trade Alvin Kamara. So this trade probably doesn't look so great. But I traded London after a zero catch opener with Alvin Kamara for Mike Evans and Antonio Gibson. I just wanted London off the team, and Kamara, he wasn't playing for 3 weeks. I didn't think Alvin Kamara was going to be this good. But I got Mike Evans, who with Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown has given me the best trio of receivers in this league. So that was where I won out there. My 6th round pick, Darren Waller. So I missed on all 3 of these. All right? Not good. Round 7. I forgot about this. Round 7 is where I got Rachaad White. I got Rachaad White in round 7. Massive, massive hit. Round 8, I took Alvin Kamara. So how about those two? Both of them were, now I know I traded Kamara, but to get both of those guys in round 7 and 8, wow. And it showed, again, I got into a lot of arguments with people about this. Oh, you're stupid. You got to take a hero running back. The results back it up. Round 9, I took Michael Thomas. Busted pick. Round 10, I got Brian Robinson. That's another one that hit up until he got hurt. So I got Brian Robinson in round 10. Round 11, I took Marvin Mims. It just never happened. Round 12, I took Kareem Hunt. I since that point, I had already got rid of him. My favorite pick of this entire draft, round 13, I took Rashee Rice. I took Rashee Rice in round 13. And I think that's where most people got him. And then the last pick, the last round, I got Tua in round 14. And the last pick of this draft, and I talked about it yesterday if you weren't on the stream, and the guy was being funny. The very last pick, he said, I'm going to take Brock Purdy just to be wise ass. And that's the guy I'm playing this week. And he's starting Brock Purdy. So how do you like that? So he was being a wise guy. He's, I'm going to take Brock Purdy. He's not going to be on my team long anyway. And now I'm playing him this week. And he's starting Brock Purdy. And he has Pat Mahomes, who he benched for Purdy last week. You have to make some of these choices. So overall, I thought this draft was really good. The value that I got at running back was just unbelievable. Now let me go to my friends and family league where I did get the bye, but it was much more of a struggle. All right. Got Rice on waivers. Yeah, I mean that was crazy. You know what? I don't have the list for my work because what we did a slow draft where we didn't do it through the website. But I kind of remember where I got these guys. Tank Dell last round pick. Yeah, I got Tank Dell off of waivers. My first round pick in my friends and family league was Justin Jefferson. Number 2 overall. McCaffrey went 1. I have no regrets about that. That was the way to go on that one. I have no regrets. Round 2, I got Garrett Wilson. Now that hasn't worked out either. How about that? Jefferson and Wilson. I thought I was sitting pretty. Both of those guys have been disappointments. Round 3, I took Jalen Hurts, and that's been working out. That worked out great until recently. Round 4, who did I take round 4? I'm trying to remember because I don't have the list in front of me right now. I don't remember. Did I take no, it wasn't Pacheco. You know what, guys? I don't remember because again, I've made trades in this league. Like I have CeeDee Lamb on this team. I have Lamar Jackson. I traded Hurts. And I traded Hurts for Jackson, and I reacquired Garrett Wilson, who I traded earlier. So a lot of moving around. So I'm just I don't remember the order. But again, in this league, I know for sure I drafted James Conner in round 5. I do remember that one. I drafted Isaiah Pacheco in round 6, and I drafted what's his name, David Montgomery in round 8. And all 3 of those guys, well, I won't say Connor. He was good in September, but the other 2 hit. Got Stroud off waivers. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Yeah, that Aaron Rodgers. I still can't believe that happened. Jefferson's just been hurt. Yeah, he's been hurt. Right. I mean, there's nothing you could do about that. And there's nothing you could do about Garrett Wilson either. First 3 picks, Chase, Wilson, and Stevenson. Oh, man, Alexander, that's rough. Yeah, Stevenson's not even in the top 25 at PPR. Like, it's just bad. Really, really bad. And Chase, too. Yeah, he got hurt. Joe Burrow got hurt. You can't beat yourself up over those. Well, you can if it's a running back that's, 27 and older. Because you should know better. And I was guilty of that with Aaron Jones. So, I'll take the hit on that for sure. If you make that mistake, then that you got to own that. I got Connor on waiver. Someone dropped him. Yeah, he's coming on now. He's definitely coming on. I am starting him this week. I had benched him last week. I've been going with Javonte Williams. Like, he just does not look like the same player, Javonte Williams. And it's very sad because I think that Javonte Williams he was a really, really intriguing, exciting player before the injury. Round 1, Eckler. Round 3, Waddle. 5, Sanders. Oof, Sanders. God, that was bad. Dobbins. QBs were Cousins and Watson. Think of Kyron Gus. Oh, my God, Steve, that's bad. Yeah. Listen, guys. We have to stop drafting these backs that are 27 and older. We just have to do it. Eckler, 28, bust. Aaron Jones, 28, bust. All right? We just have to stop doing it. And next year, McCaffrey will be 28. I'm not drafting him. Oh, you're crazy. Look at the year he's having. Look at the year Eckler had last year. Over 100 freaking catches, and he's done nothing. We have to stay disciplined. Now, this year, I didn't plan on taking quarterbacks early, but I took a quarterback in the third round in both leagues, and it's worked out great. So I'm not opposed to that. And the middle layer of quarterback this year has been very disappointing. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, right? Joe Burrow got hurt, so we can give him a mulligan on that. Even Pat Mahomes. It hasn't been good. Daniel Jones went bust. He was like on that. And Tua Tagovailoa, he hasn't been good at all the last couple of months. So we really, and that's what we're going to devote a lot of this to the offseason. Regarding how we should attack the draft next year. Drafted Mostert. Yeah, Mostert has been unbelievable. How about that? I mean, Mostert, Kyren Williams, Rashad White, like some of these guys you got off waivers. I know Mostert in one of my leagues was a waiver guy. He was cut right after the drafts, and he was just sitting there for everybody. Speed kills, even if you're 30 like Mostert. He might even be 31. So, Achane next year, he's going to be very, very tempting. Jefferson was a bust this year. Yeah, he was, but it wasn't performance-based. It was injury-based. Michael Pittman, one of the best values of the season, hands down. And we all shied away from that one, except for Rise. He drafted him. But I was – when Michael Pittman was drafted both of my leagues, I was just like, all right. Because I didn't trust the quarterback situation. Would you go back to Bijan? Yeah, I would. Arthur Smith's going to feed him this week. I really do. He has to. His job's on the line. He knows it. Fields or Baker this week. And I think Smith, if in a quiet moment in his office after that game, thinking about Bijan and what he did with him, I think he probably was saying to himself, I think I took this a little bit too far. I went way too far with this. And I think he's going to correct it this week. Fields or Baker this week. Baker's got a good matchup. He's playing really well. The thing with Fields is you hope he starts running. He didn't run last week. I don't trust him. He bombed in the fantasy playoffs last year. I think I might have to go Baker. He's got a good matchup. Brownie got me into the playoffs. Yep. Hey, Browning's getting the job done. And T. Higgins, dust him off this week, guys. Pittman's been phenomenal. Yep. I think Pittman, that was a really ugly concussion. I don't think he's going to play. What will happen to Dameon Pierce? They're going to give him another chance. Singletary's an aging back. I mean, this is just a stopgap thing. Pierce was good last year. What do you want to call it? A sophomore slump, whatever it is. It's just, it was bad. 2 leagues in the semis. You drafted Mahomes and Hurts. Now I'm wondering this week the clock will strike midnight. I'm out. I think Mahomes has a really good matchup. And so, they both do. Hurts against the Giants. He's not throwing the ball well. Jalen Hurts. He's running all over the place. He's doing a good job there, but the passing game is just not working. I'm flexing Rashee Rice against the Raiders. You play Rashee Rice every week the rest of the season. He's a low-end wide receiver one right now. He literally is a low-end wide receiver one. I know Blessed Hurts not going to have him. Michael Pittman is a big loss for sure. Baker, safe floor. Stroud moving forward, if he plays, I think he's going to be good. He's going to get Nico Collins back. He's got, Noah Brown. Dalton Schultz is back. I think the numbers will be fine. But, I think they're going to be very conservative with him. Rice is wide receiver one. Yes, he is a wide receiver one. On the Chiefs and in fantasy. I don't think there's any question about it. He's more than proven himself. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it here. Good stream as always, and thanks, guys, for the super chats. You guys were really generous tonight. I definitely appreciate that. It was a good stream. As far as tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to be a stream or a video, so make sure you have that notification bell hit. And then, of course, we have a very, very busy week, the holidays and all that stuff. Diggs and Kelsey should come out of their slump, Tony. Yes. So stay tuned for, whatever I put forth, whether it's video or a stream. Definitely, like I said, going to be on top of everything this week. Good luck to everybody. Get the guys you want off of waivers. Let's get this done, and I will chat with all of you soon. Have a good night, everybody.